Hi, Lilith. It's Nancy, and I'm here to talk about your portfolio. I thought you did a solid job. I'm going to give you some advice along the way because I think a lot of the skills that you use and the insights that you can get from writing poetry, you can translate into all kinds of other writing projects as well. It kind of gives us a microscope way to look at how we're using language, so I hope it's useful. I'm really, first of all, so happy that in taking this class you were able to enjoy English more than usual. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, hard for me to imagine because, well, English is my thing. But it really did sound like you took the time to try things out and found some pleasure in that. So I'm really happy about that. The fact that you could say it's fun to play around with technique and style here in the first paragraph. In general, I think you've got a nice, clear way of getting to the heart of your ideas. I think you can do a little more proofreading so that it comes across more sharply to whoever's reading or listening. And one way to do that would be to read out loud. Like, here's something that I think you probably would have caught if you had read this piece out loud to yourself, the cover letter. At the beginning of this process, what it says literally is, was, kind of, hesitate. And I think if you read that out loud, you'd go, what? And then you'd realize, I think what you meant was at the beginning of this process, I was kind of hesitant to see how it would turn out. And now it makes perfect sense. So maybe try that read out loud thing for your proofreading process. There were several places where I thought you could push a little deeper, and that would have gotten you the longer cover letter that I was hoping for. Why is writing easier at night? I think if you did some brainstorming about that, you'd come up with some interesting ideas. You're thinking about, why is it helpful to have a prompt? And that this combination of having a prompt, but also a lot of room to choose your own topics was successful for you. You had a place to start, but not too many things holding you back. The following poems I chose represent my work because they talk about me as a person and things I have experienced. So you make really clear here and a little later in your cover letter that it sounds like it was kind of a relief to be able to write about yourself. And I think that is part of what the creative side of writing, as opposed to the analytical or reporting powers of writing, I think that gets neglected in school, and I think it's one of the things that this course can bring out for people. So I'm glad that you were able to find that and to kind of go with it. I wasn't sure what you meant by I put it in just to put it in. Like, just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You needed poems and you had no idea which ones, so you picked those. I just wasn't, was curious. To what degree was it random? They're all kind of sad. I thought that was very interesting. And that is one of the things, that's what this little asterisk means, that I thought you could think about and push a little deeper into. Maybe, maybe I have a certain amount of sorrow in myself that writing, when I tap into that with my writing, it makes the writing stronger. But also I get some relief from it, and that's where part of the pleasure of the writing is coming from. Whereas when a teacher assigns for me to write about the Civil War or something, it's not playing, it can't play that personal function. So maybe there are more sad poems to write that will, in the end, leave you feeling happier. Can give an, I know you meant image, not imagine, so we'll just cross that out. I think you really got that a poem needs to have an image, needs to have those concrete details for us to behold with our senses in order for the ideas and the feelings to come across vividly. So basically I'm scanning each page so that when you want to, you can pause the video and read the comment. But if at any point you can't read the handwriting or something, that's a great thing to bring to office hours. So this was one of my favorites, and you'll see, like, well, then why'd you scribble all over it, lady? Some of the lines, this one, for instance, the total opposite in reality, didn't feel like they were really needed. They're implied by the rest of the poem. You tell us beautiful in all her glory, like an angel in the sky, supposed to be submissive, but wants to be powerful. Creating her own plan, the night is her time to shine. A diamond on a new engagement ring, making her more powerful than thought. I feel like you're kind of showing us, you know, she doesn't want to be this little submissive proper, right? She's craving power, and why shouldn't she? So I thought you could condense out some of the language and just have these 4 couplets, these 2 lines, these 2 lines. I'm underlining now instead of boxing. Creating her own plan, the night is her time to shine, like a diamond on an engagement ring, making her more powerful than thought. And just taking out the less interesting lines altogether and letting the rest stand there. Lil Bug had some, again, sad and again, vivid details. Nice. You'll see that I'm kind of pointing out all the places where the verbs are INGs, growing, helping. It picks up when you stop using as many INGs. It's not that it's totally their fault, but they do dull down the energy. So you could try, a name from childhood reminds me of easier times, the fun times before the crazy. Now I sit in the corner, observing all around. I take in the culture, beautiful hibiscus in the garden. Long days, I help around the house. If you get those into being active verbs instead of the ings, they have a little more of that power that Lilith was craving in the poem before this one. Airplane's good. It's got some vivid details. Again, I'm kind of pointing out the ings here and there. There's another one, there's another one, another one, another one, another one. I guess my pencil wasn't very dark that day, so I'll recircle them. With some punchier verbs, I think it would be even more vivid. Woods was one of my favorites, in part because you do a beautiful job of creating this piece here. I would end it right there. I feel like it kind of tapers away. The silence is probably important to remind us of. Pen and paper take over the mind. The silence allows it. Maybe that's all the end of the poem needs to be. But it's definitely a mood I think a lot of people can relate to, and something that we all really need right now is ways to find that peace. Yeah. Lily, this allergy poem. Yeah, I can relate to that. So this one was also excellent. I wasn't crazy about the title. It feels a little generic, you know. Is it about love? Is it marriage? Is it the sibling relationship? You know, which relationships? And maybe you want it to be all of them. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's, right? I would play around with other title possibilities. Again, I'm pointing out the ing spots so that you can think about getting more active verbs in here. Sometimes it's an adjective, like overwhelming. This is a phrase people use that becomes empty because it's actually pretty vague. It means, oh, I'm feeling something strong here. And the rest of us want to say, what? What is it? What's the something strong you're feeling, right? Two little girls sit like nothing is going on, like this is normal. We all kind of know that heartbreak of how we have to just get through these things. It was nothing new to them. I don't even think you need to tell us. It was sad. Boy, we get that. I've been that little girl, surrounded by it, This is so powerful. It's not right. Who am I to say anything? I'm just a girl still. I wouldn't overdo the little. I think it diminishes her too much. It's sort of funny. It's a way of making her unimportant. Experience means nothing to some, but maturity comes from it. Generally, I don't like when a poem goes into sort of explaining itself. I wonder if you could just go from, I'm a girl still, how could I know such a thing? I can say that for a fact. Maybe that's all it needs. Like, we kind of know this in here. How could I know this? Yeah, but I do. I think it's a really strong poem with some serious insight into how things happen. This one worked well. You can tell it's got these two halves and they work well together. They're quite different. Fish tank. So the last three poems are kind of tied because they have certain qualities that are similar. They've got this brief style. Let's see if I can get the camera on the right thing here. And they've got clear details all the way through and strong emotion behind all of it. Very striking. Really nice. They also all kind of fade at the end. I think in general you can probably, when you're revising your poems, end them sooner and trust those images that you start with to do the job. So lots of little edits and further condensings you could do, but a nice strong collection overall. If the cover letter had been the right length, it would be a B+, just so you know that the poems themselves are strong. If you can't read any handwriting or you just want to talk things over, I'd love to see you in office hours. Drop by anytime.